All right, so we're going to set up another example similar to the previous one, where this one it's in lesson 2, video 12, example 3. In that folder, you should have three images, and this one is slightly different because it is three different models. So it shows the progression of the design, but these models were taken from try to be they were almost taken from the exact same angle. So we're going to show these on one page. So again, you should have the JPEGs, but to speed things up a little bit, I've already trimmed and made a selection of everything. So I already have something similar to this. All I'm going to do is make a new uh, image. I'll do an 11 by 17, 300 resolution, and I'm going to place each one of these images on that new document. Duplicate layer, entitled, and do the same thing here. Duplicate layer, entitled, and this last one, duplicate layer, and just send it over to the entitled. So now if I move over here, I should have all three of them in here. I'm gonna select all of them, free transform, make them a little bit smaller, and I'm just gonna spread them out a little bit on the page. And essentially what I'm going to try to do is get them to line up as best as I can. I'm going to select them all and free transform, just make them just slightly smaller, just to make sure I have room to fit everything. And spread them out a little. So I'm going to set up a guideline just to make sure that everything's lining up as best as possible. I'm going to line them up, first starting to line them up with this back corner here, because that's where pretty much all the models are fairly consistent. And the same thing here. And then I'll add a guideline to the top. And I'll select the smallest model over here. So I'm just lining it up to the top here. So this one, I'm gonna have to hit Control T, Command T, and free transform to make it a little bit smaller. And making sure that this is right on the line, so I'll make this side a little bit smaller. Should work. And do the same thing to this one. Free transform. Make this slightly smaller. And do the same thing to this side. Make this slightly smaller. That should work. And now I can see these guidelines, they're lining up there and there with this model, and at that point and at that point with this model. But with this model, it's when they took the picture, they didn't line it up just right. So I'm gonna have to rotate this one. I'm gonna have to slightly fix this one. So I'm gonna hit free transform. I'm gonna change the location of my rotation. I'm gonna move it over here to this corner. So now I'm gonna rotate it so that this corner here matches, but now this is way off. So I'm gonna just drag this in just a little bit just to line that up. So I have that point that matches, this point that matches, and now this point matches. Hit enter. So now they're fairly consistent. And now I'm able to, I can spread them out just a little bit more evenly. And I can get rid of my guidelines by dragging them up to the ruler. And now I have my 3 separate models. Again, I can see the progression of the design with no cutouts, where I have one cutout, and then with an additional cutout, so I can start to see the progression. Instead of having them just floating here, I'm actually going to come back here to one of these previous images. I'm going to select one of this shade of blue with the eyedropper. So now I have the blue over here in this foreground. So I can come back over here and just ground the drawings just a little bit. Go to Edit, Fill. Oop, I have to make a new layer. Edit, Fill. Foreground color. Hit OK. Deselect that. Drag this down a little bit. And now I have these. I'm going to lighten it up just a little bit. Give it a little bit of opacity. Just lighten it up just a little. So now I have my models that are all set up. The best way to set these up, again, is not to move the camera as best as possible. Put it on a tripod, leave your light consistent, and try to place the models in the exact same location, just so you can see the progression of the design.